Did you know that your sleep habits and what you do before bedtime could lead to serious consequences? Avoid these 7 dangerous bedtime habits, or things might take a turn for the worse. You go to bed on time. It seems like everything is in order. The lights are off, the bed is comfortable, and you're feeling tired. But for some reason, the sleep is shallow and restless, with frequent awakenings. In the morning, it feels like you haven't rested at all. Why is that? How many times have you tossed and turned, trying to fall asleep, while your mind is racing with thoughts, tension, and anxiety? You might have just turned on the news before bed, or perhaps you had your usual light snack at night. Or maybe you simply forgot to air out the room. These small details can lead to insomnia, fluctuations in blood pressure, and even heart rhythm disturbances with serious consequences. But what if those evening habits that seem innocent and familiar are actually jeopardizing your sleep? What if you're unknowingly creating stress for your brain, heart, and entire nervous system every day? In this video, we'll explore the 7 most common mistakes people make during sleep and before bedtime, from harmful sleeping positions to watching the news. You'll discover what's preventing your body from fully recovering and what changes you can make starting today. Watch until the end, especially if you're tired of waking up feeling exhausted and want to finally experience restorative sleep. Let's start with the most underrated yet crucial factor: your sleeping position. Many people believe that whatever feels comfortable is the right way to sleep. However, one of the most common positions, sleeping on your stomach, can be not only harmful, but potentially life-threatening. When you sleep on your stomach, you have to turn your neck to the side. This creates constant tension in the spine, compresses the arteries, and disrupts blood flow to the brain. This can be particularly problematic for elderly individuals whose neck vessels may already be weakened with age, potentially leading to dizziness, spikes in blood pressure, and numbness in the limbs. One case that shocked doctors in Japan involved an elderly woman who had slept exclusively on her stomach for several years. One morning, she was found unconscious, and doctors diagnosed her with an ischemic stroke caused by prolonged neck compression during sleep. Unfortunately, the woman could not be saved. This may sound alarming, but it's important to understand that sleeping on your stomach is not just an uncomfortable position. It's a daily micro-stress for your neck, back, and internal organs. This is especially true for the heart and lungs, which experience compression and are unable to function freely. Doctors recommend avoiding this sleeping position, especially for people over 50. Instead, opt for sleeping on your back with a pillow under your knees, or on your side with a cushion between your legs. This helps align the spine, improve breathing, and prevent blood flow restriction. What position do you usually sleep in? Now, let's turn our attention to a factor that many people often overlook: the temperature in the bedroom. It seems that the warmer it is, the cozier it feels, especially when it's cold outside or the air conditioning is blowing. However, it's actually a bedroom that's too warm that can disrupt your sleep from the inside out. When we fall asleep, our body temperature naturally drops. This is essential for activating the deep sleep phase, the one during which cells repair, the heart rests, and the immune system strengthens. However, if the room is too warm, the body cannot cool down. As a result, you take longer to fall asleep, wake up more frequently, sweat, and your sleep becomes less restful. This is particularly important for older adults. As we age, the body's ability to regulate temperature diminishes. Even a slight increase in bedroom temperature can lead to spikes in blood pressure, heart palpitations, and feelings of fatigue in the morning. The ideal temperature is considered to be between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, 64 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. If you feel cold, it's better to use an extra blanket than to overheat the room. It's also important to ventilate your bedroom before sleep, even in winter. Fresh air and a cooler temperature help your brain switch to recovery mode. If your room feels stuffy, and you wake up feeling hot, with a dry mouth and a heavy head, the likely culprit is the temperature. Try lowering it by just a couple of degrees, and after a few nights, you'll notice the difference. The next habit that seems harmless and sometimes even beneficial is having a glass of wine or a bit of cognac before bed. Many people believe that alcohol helps them relax and fall asleep faster. And this is true, at least at first glance. Alcohol can indeed help you fall asleep more quickly. However, it significantly disrupts the sleep structure. After consuming alcohol, your body quickly enters light sleep, but the deep sleep phase is almost entirely blocked, and the REM sleep cycle is disrupted. These are the phases where the brain, heart, immune, and hormonal systems undergo restoration. This is especially dangerous for older adults. They may already have a disrupted sleep balance, and alcohol makes things worse. It increases the frequency of awakenings, leads to shallow and restless sleep, and results in feelings of fatigue, headaches, and elevated blood pressure in the morning. Additionally, alcohol dehydrates the body, increases heart rate, and can cause nighttime urges to urinate, further disrupting sleep. Even a small amount, like 1 glass of wine with dinner, can affect sleep quality, especially if consumed late in the evening. If you notice that you find it harder to wake up feeling refreshed after drinking, that's already a warning sign. Try swapping your evening alcohol for a relaxing herbal tea, like chamomile or lavender. This can help you unwind without disrupting your body's natural rhythms. Let us know in the comments if you consume alcohol before bed. Now, let's talk about one of the quietest yet most damaging mistakes: an irregular sleep schedule. It may not seem like a big deal to go to bed a little later or sleep in longer on weekends. However, these fluctuations can disrupt our internal biological rhythm, known as the circadian clock, which regulates dozens of processes in the body. When you go to bed at different times, your body can't predict when to start producing melatonin, when to activate the immune system, or when to switch into recovery mode. As a result, you may experience insomnia, daytime drowsiness, fluctuations in blood pressure, and even memory decline. This is especially important for older adults whose production of sleep hormones decreases with age. Without a consistent schedule, the brain can become confused, not knowing when night falls. As a result, this leads to shallow sleep, frequent awakenings, and a feeling of fatigue even after spending 8 hours in bed. Research shows that maintaining a regular sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time, improves not only sleep quality but also heart health, vascular function, and mental well-being. It's like an internal setting of the body that keeps the entire metabolism in balance. Start simple. Choose a comfortable bedtime, for example, 10:30 p.m., and stick to it consistently. Even if you don't feel sleepy, lie down, read a book, or listen to music. Gradually, your body will learn to fall asleep at this time, and you'll notice that your sleep becomes deeper and waking up feels easier. The next habit that may seem innocent to many is having a light snack before bed. A bit of cottage cheese, a couple of cookies, or a cup of milk with honey sounds harmless, almost cozy. However, even a light meal before sleeping can seriously disrupt your body's ability to recover at night. When you eat before bedtime, especially within 12 hours of going to sleep, your digestive system stays active instead of getting the rest it needs. The stomach produces acid, the pancreas releases enzymes, and the liver processes fats. All of this requires energy, which disrupts the natural restoration processes that occur during the night. Additionally, food raises blood sugar levels, which can then lead to a sharp drop. This may result in waking up during the night, increased heart rate, and feelings of anxiety. This is especially true when consuming sugary or carbohydrate-rich foods. The aging body is particularly sensitive to these fluctuations. Insulin levels are already unstable, metabolism slows down, and even a small evening snack can lead to feelings of heaviness, heartburn, and restless sleep. If you find yourself hungry later in the evening, it's better to choose light and neutral foods. For example, steamed broccoli, a small handful of nuts, or a cup of warm water with lemon. Just be sure to have this no later than 2 hours before bedtime. Remember, night is a time for the body to rest, not to digest food. Even this seemingly small step, skipping late-night snacks, can significantly enhance the quality of your sleep and how you feel in the morning. Now let's discuss something that many people don't even think to connect with sleep disturbances: coffee and other caffeinated beverages. You might have had a cup in the afternoon and then wondered why you can't fall asleep at night. The reason is simple. Caffeine can stay in your system for up to 10 hours after consumption. This means that a cup of coffee at 4 p.m. can still affect your brain at 2 a.m. This is particularly true for older adults, whose caffeine elimination processes are slower. This heightens nervous system stimulation, disrupts melatonin production, and prevents the body from entering deep sleep. In addition to coffee itself, caffeine is found in other beverages and products: black and green tea, chocolate, soda, and energy drinks. It can even be present in some cold or headache medications. Many people believe that since they drink coffee, they won't fall asleep. However, this can be misleading. You may find yourself falling asleep, but the quality of your sleep is declining. It becomes more superficial, with increased awakenings during the night, leading to sluggishness and drowsiness in the morning. What can you do? Limit your intake of coffee and strong tea to between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. In the afternoon, opt for caffeine-free beverages like herbal teas, chicory, or simply warm water with lemon. If you find it increasingly difficult to fall asleep, try cutting out caffeine completely for at least 7 days. Often, this can make a noticeable difference in the quality of your sleep and how refreshed you feel in the morning. Lastly, one of the most subtle yet extremely damaging habits is watching distressing news before bed. Whether it's the TV, YouTube news, or headlines in your news feed, it can all seem like a harmless evening ritual. In reality, your brain perceives every negative news story as a danger signal. This is especially true for older adults, who are more sensitive to stress than younger people. Even a brief glance at the evening news can trigger a surge of cortisol, the stress hormone. As a result, the nervous system gets activated, the heart rate increases, blood pressure may rise, and the brain continues to process the anxiety-inducing information long after the screen is turned off. Sleep becomes shallow and restless, often accompanied by fragmented dreams and nighttime awakenings. If this habit turns into a daily routine, insomnia, chronic fatigue, and decreased concentration are sure to follow. Studies show that consuming distressing content less than an hour before bedtime increases the risk of nighttime awakenings by nearly 50%. This applies not only to television, but also to smartphones, particularly when reading news on social media. What can you do? Try to completely avoid news, social media, and TV for at least 12 hours before bedtime. Instead, opt for some peaceful reading, music, light exercises, or breathing practices. This will help your brain shift into recovery mode and give you a real chance to relax. As you've just seen, sleep is not just a time for rest. It's an active, vital phase during which the entire body recovers: the heart, the brain, the immune system, and memory. However, all of this can be disrupted by habits that may seem harmless. Sleeping on your stomach, a warm bedroom, evening snacks, caffeine after lunch, alcohol before bed, an irregular schedule, and anxiety-inducing news. These 7 factors can undermine your health from within, even if you're getting 8 hours of sleep. You don't need to make drastic changes. Start small. Try one recommendation today. You'll be surprised at how quickly your sleep quality improves, anxiety fades, blood pressure lowers, and morning energy returns. Pay attention to yourself and your sleep. It's the easiest way to extend a vibrant, healthy life. What habits have you noticed in yourself? Share in the comments and let's discuss it together. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. It might help someone close to you.